Let's roll.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and good morning, MYM Insiders. How's everybody doing today? This is Rich Harshaw, and we are here today for our Rapid Fire Innovation webinar. This is a webinar that we do every once in a while. It's a real simple concept. I take different innovation strategies and I apply them in rapid fire format, as the name would suggest, to lots of different industries. So I think we're going to go through something like, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 or 8 different types of businesses. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go through some of the strategies as a way of reminder. And I'll just go through these briefly to give you a little bit of an idea of what we're going to talk about. These are some of the innovation formulas that we've created here at MYM over the years. It helps you. They're really designed to be sort of innovation starters, ways to think about innovation, to give you some ideas of some things you can do. So the first one is Magic Wand. It's the most basic of all innovation formulas. It's essentially saying, if you gave your customer a magic wand and they could wave it over your business and or your industry and get anything they wanted, what would it look like? Now, this doesn't mean that they would wave their magic wand over your business and you would give them $1 million. That's dumb. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what kinds of things would they have your industry do? What kinds of things would they have your industry not do? What things would change to make it be the kind of business that they would want to do business with? That's the magic wand. Bookmobile is things that you take to the customers. By way of disclaimer, you don't always have to do all of these for your business. They're sort of like an a la carte menu. You can pick and choose which ones make sense for a given situation. Bringing things out to your customer that otherwise they would have to go to get. Indirect competitor emulation. This is talking about things that your indirect competitors do that you could emulate because your customers like them. I'll talk a little bit about that in today's session, so hold on for that. The real deal is really saying, what is it that your customers really want that you can focus on delivering? The easiest example for that is a flower shop. They think they're a flower shop, but the real deal, what people really go to a flower shop for, is not really flowers. It's for, and I know there's lots of things you use flowers for, funerals and weddings and things like that, but on a day-to-day basis, it's a romance thing. I want somebody to help me show romance in my life, or to show sympathy or something like that. So that's what they need to focus on, and if they focused on that element as opposed to, hey, we have flowers for sale, that might help them find ways to innovate and serve their customers better. Pulaski, two birds. Can you help somebody get 2 things done at once? I'll show you some examples of that in today's discussion as well. Situations where you're doing something for your customer, could you also be accomplishing something else for your customer at the same time? That's 2 birds, i.e. 2 birds, 1 stone. Pulaski no punt. This is the idea that you can do something very outrageous, but that still makes statistical or logical sense. This comes from Pulaski Academy in Little Rock, Arkansas, who made a decision a few years ago to never punt the ball on 4th down, talking, of course, about football. And it was a strategy that worked extraordinarily well for them, even though everybody thought they were crazy, including the parents, including the other coaches, until they won championships and people started saying, well, that's not so crazy to never punt. And there's very solid foundational reasons why never punting is a great strategy. The next one is free lunch. Are there things that you could give away to your customers for free that would make a difference? Again, not suggesting that you always give everything away for free, but can you strategically give things away for free that would make a difference? Guarantee greatness. This is about guaranteeing things as an innovation strategy, as a way to secure more business and get people to be more willing to do business with you. Grand Theft Inno. This talks about taking ideas from other industries and thieving them, stealing them, and putting them into your industry. Look around at other kinds of businesses and see what they do. Quality counts. We're talking about innovating the quality of the product or service that you have so that it's superior to your competitors as an innovation strategy. Pimp My Ride is the strategy where we take things that are normally mundane and very normal and average and boring, and we apply things to them that make them very unusual and unboring and not mundane. This is the concept of taking the standard golf club that Eli Callaway was trying to sell and putting a big, fat, huge head on it, calling it the Big Bertha driver, and innovating an entire industry. Or the same thing that Victoria's Secret did with ladies' underwear, taking it off the have-to-buy-it racket at Montgomery Ward's and making it into something more glamorous and beautiful and desirable for people to buy. This is called Pimp My Ride. Speedy Gonzalez, doing things fast for your customers, things that they maybe don't even think that they need or want done faster, but that you do them fast, and it becomes a competitive advantage. Fun Guy, doing things fun in your business. Captain Obvious, doing so many things, even little things, that they add up to the conclusion that it's obvious that you're the best choice. Home of the Blank, finding something that you can hang your hat on, and it can actually focus on some of these other innovation strategies, but making your business the home of the something so that people understand at a glance what it is that they would want to do business with you for. Inside Out, looking at what you already do and finding things that are undiscovered or unappreciated within your own company and putting them out there on the forefront so that people see them. And this is really, again, about looking at your inside reality, looking at what you already do, and finding things that are very interesting. This happens more often than you think. Pampered Chef, what can you do to add luxury or pampering to your products or services that might be a competitive advantage? And then finally, we have Small Stuff, doing things that are very inconsequential on the surface level, but that make a big difference, especially cumulatively when multiple things are done all in concert. So we've got here, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 different strategies that we'll be using. We won't use all of them, but this is just a quick overview for you of some of the strategies. I want you to, I go through these every time we go through this exercise because I want you to think about them and go, oh yeah, that strategy, that's interesting. And think about it, okay? Now, before we get started, let's do an innovation bonus. I've read 2 books in the last month that have been interesting and relevant to the topic of innovation. The first one was called David, I think it's called actually David and Goliath. Malcolm Gladwell has a new book out. I read it. It's called David and Goliath. I actually did not read it. I listened to it. I'm an audio book guy. But I'm going to tell you this. Instead of getting the book, I'm going to encourage you to simply go to Google and Google an article that he had written for the New Yorker. The original article was written, let's see, May 11th, 2009. So it's going back a little over 4 years ago. This is the article that the book was actually based off of. And in all honesty, I could actually recommend the article more than I can recommend the book. I think the book was good. It had some of the same stories and principles illustrated from the article in the book. In fact, let me just throw this on the screen. This is the article right here. It's called How David Beats Goliath, as you can see here on the New Yorker website. And there's a story in here about girls playing basketball and how they do it differently. And here's why I'm suggesting that you read the article, because it was actually better than the book. It was more concise. It actually had some interesting stories and some concepts that were not in the book, which was very surprising because the book obviously is a lot longer than the article. But nevertheless, if you read the book, it's a pretty good book. I think towards the middle and as you get towards the end of it, it starts to sort of stagnate. He starts telling some stories that don't really seem to fit into the overall premise of the book. And he doesn't do you any favors in the middle and end of the book. He doesn't tie anything together to a central premise. He just kind of leaves a bunch of open loose ends for you to try to figure out what to do with them. I'm not sure why he would do that. It would be so easy to draw conclusions, but I guess maybe he wants you to think about it, and in so doing, he leaves you a little bit frustrated as a reader. But nevertheless, read the article. It'll only take you 15 or 20 minutes, and it's excellent. Every single word of the article is very interesting. Here's some of the key principles of how David can beat Goliath. And he talks about working harder, breaking protocol, and doing things that he calls socially horrifying, which is an interesting concept to me, but he completely left it out of the book. And I think that there's value and power in this concept of doing things that are socially horrifying because that's really what I want to focus on in this innovation bonus. He talks about the ability to work harder, how people that are Davids in the world competing against Goliath frequently have to work harder because they don't have the resources available, and working harder is certainly something that the Davids do. Breaking protocol, though, and doing things that are socially horrifying, I think is really an interesting concept. What we're talking about is redefining the rules of the game, doing things that have never been done before, innovation, right? That's what innovation is, and looking at things from a different perspective, doing things that would be considered by society or certainly by your industry as being socially horrifying. Socially horrifying meaning I can't believe that they would even think to do that. And the example that he uses in the article is the story about girls playing basketball, and this guy came from India, and he didn't know a thing about basketball, but he ended up coaching his daughter. He found it very interesting and unusual that in basketball that you never guard 3/4 of the entire court. When a team scores a basket, they immediately retreat to their own end of the court to defend the basket, and they only defend out to the three-point line, and they leave the whole rest of the court undefended. And he thought, wow, that's not how cricket works, where he came from in India, and that's not how, what was the other sport he liked? Rugby? I can't remember. Anyway, the sports that he watched, oh, soccer. You defend the whole field or the whole court. So he put together a strategy because his girls weren't very good and they were undersized and they didn't have experience where they full court pressed the entire game. Long story short, it made the other coaches angry. They didn't know how to deal with it. His girls, even though they weren't nearly as skilled, ended up winning the championship. Actually, they fell one game short because they felt like the referees got the better of them in the final game, and their strategy backfired. But nevertheless, interesting principle, socially horrifying. Think about that Pulaski no punt and punting every time it's 4th down, even if it's 4th and 15 from your own 10-yard line. Socially horrifying to punt. And that's what this article is about. So I'm going to encourage you to go read it. If you get into the book, he talks about redefining what things are considered advantages versus disadvantages. Many times, Davids are actually the things that look like disadvantages, being small and not having resources actually make them more resourceful and therefore have more resources, and things that seem disadvantages in terms of upbringing or whatnot actually force you to be stronger. Also, when you have a lot, you've been given lots of resources to work with, sometimes that makes you slow and pudgy and stodgy and hard to react. And these are things that make common sense. But read the article. And then I want to tell you the second book that I read this month. It was kind of an interesting one. It was called, let's see, Ender's Game. This is a movie that just came out last Friday, and I decided I would read the book, and I actually listened to part of the book and read part of the book. And this is an interesting book because it goes very well with the first book, David versus Goliath. And what I mean by that is this is the true classic David versus Goliath story. They take this little kid, it's a science fiction book, and it's set in the future, some, I don't know, roughly 100 years or so in the future, and they take little kids to be their battle commanders in Space Wars. And it's a story about this little boy named Ender who they take at the age of, I think, about 3. They insert a monitor into his head so they can monitor what he's thinking. By the time he's 6 years old, they realize that, hey, he's far advanced and superior and more intelligent than all the other kids. And they put him into this battle school where he learns to compete against other kids, and then eventually into general school. Long story short, this entire book is about taking this little kid who has resources of being intelligent and smart, but lacks all of the other resources in terms of experience, strength, size, and they put him through all kinds of unbelievable obstacles imposed by the teachers and by the instructors in the schools that forces him to be really, really strong, and it serves him well. And it's sort of a moral dilemma in terms of, should we inflict hardship on this kid so that he can become strong, because what if it ends up breaking him versus making him strong? and the benefits that ultimately come from him being put through this rigorous situation. Well, you know, it really is a David versus Goliath. So if you haven't read either of these books, or at least the article, or at least go watch the movie Ender's Game, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm assuming that the same themes would come out in the movie. These are some good innovation things for you to look at. You know, Ender's Game has got a lot of good examples of doing things that are socially horrifying. When he finally gets to the level of commander in the battle school, he's so good, and he so easily defeats the other competitors that they have to start stacking the rules against him so that it's harder and harder for him to win. And every time they change the rules on him, he has to change his tactics and his strategies. The tactics and strategies that he used in the previous battle, these are simulations, okay, don't work because the other kids start to catch on, and so he has to constantly, continuously innovate and get stronger and better. And you know what? It's a really good metaphor for business, because as soon as you do something that's better and different, your competitors are going to catch up, and now the rules have changed again, right? And you have to do something that's even better and even stronger again and again and again. And he does things that are socially horrifying, things that people never thought were even part of the game. He starts doing things that people assumed were outside of the rules, but were never specifically stated as not being legal. And, you know, it's the same thing that the guy did in the basketball game with the little girls. It was assumed that doing a full court press was just not a gentlemanly way to play basketball. Well, in the rules, you can do a full court press, and it gives you all kinds of advantages if you know how to do it, and if you condition that way, and if that's the way you train. And so I think these are some good innovation lessons for us as business people to really get in there and say, okay, let's think about this David versus Goliath, because the reality is we're all Davids versus Goliaths. You know, I don't perceive that I've got any Walmarts or Citibanks or, you know, Apple computers on this call. I think we're all, relatively speaking, small, and we're competing against bigger, more well-funded, more experienced competitors, and it's a good chance for us to just learn to think in a different way. So there's the innovation bonus for you. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that. So let's get into some rapid-fire innovation. Let's talk about a Mexican fast food chain. This is one that would compete against the Taco Bells of the world. And so I understand that you really don't care about Mexican fast food, but I think it's an excellent opportunity, an exercise for you to take some of these innovation formulas and think, okay, if I were the manager or the owner or the person in charge of the regional Mexican fast food chain, what kinds of things could we do to compete, to make ourselves stand apart, to be different, to be better? And that's the whole basis of this rapid fire. It's not that you give a rat's butt about a stupid fast food chain. It's that you go through this process of thinking. So I want you to think about it for a minute. If you owned a Mexican restaurant chain, fast food, what could you do? Well, let's go through some ideas. First of all, casual dining feel, fast food speed and prices, okay? Think about this. Why does fast food have to be so fast foody? Why can't you deliver food fast? I mean, think about the premise of fast food. They've got all of the ingredients sitting back there. They've got a limited menu that they can build out of those ingredients that are sitting back there. And then when you order it, they spring into action and they assemble it and they give it to you at the counter as opposed to you sitting over at a table with a waiter. That's really the major difference. And a lot of Mexican restaurants actually function the same way, even though they're not fast food, right? They've got all the ingredients sitting back there in the kitchen that you can't see because there's a wall between you and your table and their preparation area. But they have all the ingredients just sitting there waiting to, you know, stick it in a tortilla or a shell. Is it chicken? Is it beef? You know, what is it? And they can assemble this very quick. It's really not that much different. So why not set it up to be more of a casual dining feel where people can order their food and then go sit at a table, maybe have not a waiter, but a server bring the food. Now, I say not a waiter because I'm not talking about a person that takes the order and takes it back to the kitchen and brings the drinks. I'm talking still about fast food, but I'm talking about more of a casual dining feel. A little bit nicer tables, a little bit nicer decor, a little bit nicer atmosphere. You order your food at the front. You go sit down. They maybe give you a number. Instead of calling your number out on the microphone, order number 72, they have somebody that just brings it over to your table, okay? separate entry like a casual dining has, where there's sort of a feel of, hey, I'm coming into a restaurant, better lighting, maybe a salsa bar where you can get different kinds of salsas that are maybe handmade there, so that there's just this feel of not being a pre-packaged, sterilized, open a can and pour it out kind of an experience. Regional fast food chain. Put Wi-Fi in there so people can use their devices, TVs, comfortable seating, okay? These are some things that they could do. How about higher quality, fresher, and healthier? Instead of pouring junk out of a can. I mean, if you go to Taco Bell, they're going to reconstitute their refried beans from powder. This is true. And the reason is because it's a lot cheaper this way, right? So you've got the powdered beans that can be stored and shipped for less weight, cheaper, easier. You stick water in them, you heat them up, boom, now you've got rehydrated, refried beans. Well, what if you just made them fresh? Or what if you didn't rehydrate them? What if you made it healthier? Guacamole made fresh 5 times daily. Now, let me tell you where I came up with the idea for all of this. I came up with the idea for this from a fast food chain in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They're also in some other parts of the Southwest. I think they started in Oklahoma, but they're not that big. I mean, they're mostly regional, Texas, Oklahoma, and they're not even in all of Texas. It's a chain called Taco Bueno, and this is exactly what they do. But here's the interesting thing: I ended up talking to the CEO of this company, ironically, at a different restaurant than Taco Bueno, but I ended up having breakfast with the owner. Not the owner, the CEO of Taco Bueno, something like 400 locations, so not small fries. And he was explaining to me that they make their guacamole fresh 5 times daily. And I said to him, I had no idea. I've been going to this restaurant because I grew up in Dallas since I was a little kid, since I was 7 years old when we moved to Dallas. And I had no idea that they made their guacamole fresh 5 times daily. Now, here's why I had no idea. Not because of the way it tastes, not because of the flavor, not because of anything else, but because it's a fast food restaurant, and my expectation was that fast food restaurants would not make guacamole fresh 5 times a day. I just would never have dawned on me that they would do that. And yet they never told anybody. They never said it anywhere. It wasn't on any of the signs. It just was something they did, and I thought that's crazy. Don't just do stuff. Tell people stuff so they can start to appreciate it, okay? How about unlimited chips and salsa? Dine in only with a minimum purchase maybe. But here's what we're talking about, the same thing that the casual dining restaurants do. If you see at the top there, it says in parentheses, real deal and ICE. ICE is indirect competitor emulation. The indirect competitor of the fast food restaurant is the casual dining restaurant. They're both competing for the same fast food dollars, but on the surface at least, they're indirect competitors, fast food versus the casual dining. Well, what if they took some of the casual dining things and made them available to their regular customers? And the answer is it would make a big difference. The salsa is sitting right over there on the salsa bar. Why not have chips there so you can just grab your own chips out of the salsa bar? I don't know. Seems like a pretty good answer. Or have the lady that brings your food over when you order it bring some chips so that you can get some, chips and salsa if you want it. Okay, let's move to the next industry. This is rapid fire. We're not trying to, beat down any particular industry into too much level of detail. CPA, tax preparation. Well, first of all, how about a tax hotline? Pick up this phone or go onto this online chat, and you can talk to somebody about your taxes anytime you want throughout the year, and of course, January through April is the hot spots. How about a series of Cliff Notes reports for various situations? If you're a business owner, if you're an executive, if you're a contract laborer, if you have a home-based business, if you're a salaried employee, what about a set of reports that says, look, here's the things that you need to know for your situation as it relates to taxes. Here's things that are deductible. Here's some things that you might have overlooked. Here's some things that you could do to save money on taxes. Here's a way to reclassify, your dependents or whatever the case is. I don't know. I'm not a CPA or a tax prep specialist, but those people are, and they certainly have advice available. Why not make it available to people in a format that is interesting, engaging, and relevant to their specific situations? The answer is I don't know. Website and email list of same category. So now we've got an executive email list. We've got a contract labor email list, and they send out weekly or 2 times per month or once a month emails with information that's relevant to those different categories, so that you're not getting just generic, boring tax prep, but you're getting tax information for salaried employees or for contract labor, for home-based business, whatever the case is. Again, okay? TurboTax review service, do your own taxes, let us review it. Big envelopes, checklist to aid in tax collecting documents. Okay, so give people these huge oversized envelopes that has a checklist on it that says put this kind of stuff in here when it comes in the mail, your 1099s or your W-2s or your what do you call them, 1099 dividends, whatever they are. Put them in here so it's easy to gather. This is one's for receipts. This one's for, I don't know, automotive receipts. This one over here is for restaurant receipts. This one is for business supply receipts. Anytime you have receipts, throw them in here and then maybe hand them over to the CPA later so it's easier to deal with. How about $1 million audit-proof return guarantee? I'm not sure how that works, but that's for the CPA guy to figure out. Audit-proof doesn't mean necessarily you never get audited, but you won't lose the audit. I don't know. Branding, colors, look, feel. This is something that attorneys and CPAs and other professionals really don't seem to spend that much time and attention on. So think about that if you're in those types of industries. Let's move to the next one, window washing company. Well, this is simple enough. If you own a window washing company, how could you innovate it? And I love this example because it's so easy for people to look at a window washing company and say, well, that's the boringest, least interesting, least innovative thing I could think of. Well, that's the whole idea. I mean, go read Ender's Game if you want to think that way. And here's what you'll find out. As soon as you get comfortable in your situation, they're going to change the rules, so it makes it harder and harder to compete. And you've got to innovate constantly and find new ways to one-up and to be better and to be different. So what if you went on a different model? Window washing companies usually are on a, hey, let us know when your windows are dirty. What if they went on a periodic maintenance basis, weekly washing at a monthly price, or maybe once per month? Maybe weekly washing is too often. Maybe they'll come in and do it twice a month. Or you can choose weekly, 2 times a month, once a month, every other month, whatever it is. Come in with a huge crew so that they're in and out in 10 minutes, so that if they're coming every week, you don't have to sit there and have people at your house all day long, once a week washing your windows. Why not bring in 6, 8, 10 guys who jump on ladders and knock the whole thing out in a matter of 10 minutes or so? Tag on door informing customer services provided. I mean, this is what my pool guy does, right? I don't know when my pool guy comes. He comes on Tuesdays, I think, but I don't care if he comes or when he comes, as long as he comes. But I know he came because he leaves a little tag on my door and says, I added, this salt to your pool, or I cleaned out this, or you need to pay attention to this, or you've got this problem that you need to take care of. Whatever the case is, I know what it is because the guy puts a little tag on my door, and he comes all the time, and it lets me know that he came, that the money that I'm spending is being well spent. Even if I never see him there, I know he's been there. The window washing company could do the same thing. Maybe once per month, they come and they wash the inside of the windows, or every other month they wash the insides. On other months, they just wash the outside. They're the ones that get dirty the most, right? Why not? 2 birds. Why not do other things while they're there? They can water your plants, pick up your dog poop, vacuum, light dusting, clean your house. What about this garage cleaning? Now, I don't know what your garage is like, but I've got this garage, and it always seems to get dirty, and it gets dirty with, grass clippings that blow in from when you're doing the lawn, or just dust, or just dirt. The garage needs to be cleaned out about probably every couple weeks would be best. We do it about every, month or 2 because we're lazy, but it really ought to be done about, once a month, every 2 weeks. What if they came and cleaned your garage while they were cleaning your windows? Why not? They charge you an extra, maybe $10 to take their 7 guys, get their vacuums, vacuum out your garage, sweep up the dust, whatever, straighten your stuff. I don't know. Maybe. How about a never dirty guarantee? Your windows will never be dirty, and if they are, call this number, hit the hotline, we'll be over there in an instant. How about this? Branded shirts, vans, cards, signs, etc. Why not make window washing something? This is that pimp my ride strategy. Don't just talk about about window washing, make your window washing company stand out. You know, I created this strategy for a guy that had a window washing company where I said, you should change your company colors to hot pink. And he said, hot pink? Why would I do that? I said, because people are going to remember it. If your van, when you roll in, is hot pink, and the bucket with the water is hot pink, and your shirt is hot pink, and your pants are hot pink, and you're wearing a hot pink cap on your head, and you've got a hot pink squeegee, and you hand them a hot pink business card and a hot pink invoice and a hot pink thing on their door, that's going to start to make an impact, and people are going to look at it and go, wow, the window washing guy. And you take yourself from invisible and nondescript and something that people never think about to something that is eminently visible and descript, which I think descript is the opposite of nondescript. I don't know. Anyway, you get the idea. Put a sign out front, hot pink, whatever. All right, let's talk about cruise-only travel agencies. Now, I want to, okay, so I just went on a vacation, just a little mini vacation to kind of get away with my wife for, I think, 3 or 4 days. Went to Cancun. I've never been to Cancun before. I've been to a couple of other places like Cabo San Lucas. I've been to the Cayman Islands just for, you know, I've got 6 kids, so I've got to get away every once in a while. And as I decided to go to Cancun, here's the problem. If you go to the internet, there's a paradox. The paradox is we want to have a lot of choice. The paradox is if there's too much choice, it makes it impossible to decide what to do, right? There are something like 190, I think, resorts in Cancun. That's a lot of resorts. How do you figure out which one to stay at? Well, you read the reviews, you go through that whole process. And I ended up wishing and wanting, isn't there just some person that can go to Cancun, go to all of the resorts that are in a certain price range, and then go to all the resorts in another certain price range, do not just for any given price range, but for various price ranges, and say, look, I've been to all of them. Here's the pros. Here's the cons. Here's what you need to look out for. Here's what we liked about it. Here's what we didn't. And somebody that can just tell me. Now, this is the same advice I'm giving the cruise-only travel agency. Real person experience. Reviews are good. Don't get me wrong. The problem with reviews is at some point there's so many of them that they're hard to decipher. You can always find people that hated a resort or a cruise right next to a person that absolutely loved a resort or a cruise. And of course, you look at the overriding trends. 90% of the people gave it 5 stars, and 8% gave it 4 stars, and only 1% gave it 1 star. So that probably tells you something. I mean, you can rely on those kinds of numbers, especially when there's 2,000 reviews and 1,800 of them are overwhelmingly positive. But here's what would even be better. A person that had clout just saying, you know what, I've been there, and I've been to the other one, and I've been to the other 7, and here's my rankings, and let me tell you. And now, let me tell you something. I look for this kind of information, and it just doesn't exist. There's pieces and parts of it, but I want the same person. Not, hey, here we sent 10 different correspondents to report, and here's what they found. I want the same person. Dude, why wouldn't you do it? Owned a cruise-only travel agency, wouldn't that be the best policy, is to actually know so that you can give real advice? Full comparisons of relevant cruise brands, types, destinations broken down by categories, by price, families, singles, romantic, whatever. Actual recommendations by people who have really been there. Create a top 20 cruise list. Give detailed information on exactly insider information. Help people know what to do. Trying to communicate here. Hopefully I'm doing it at least a reasonably decent job. We're taking a scenario, and I want you to think about your scenario, okay, where there's lots of different choices, and people don't have any experience. They don't know how to make the choice. They don't even really know what the parameters are, and experiencing it for them and reporting what you found. That's what I'm talking about. Online program that matches me to the best cruise instead of putting the onus on me to know what I want. How do I know what I want in a cruise when I've only ever cruised one time in my life? extensive online video library of recommended cruises. Not corporate shot, not the glamour shots, not the when you sail with Carnival, you will blah, blah, blah. No, the guy that has his phone recording or a camcorder going, look, check this out. This is really cool. Here's what the room looks like. Here's what a different room looks like. Here's what you can expect. Let's go into the restaurant. Here's the kids club. Here's the all those kinds of things. Here's the shows that we watch, and create videos, maybe 3 to 5 minutes long that people can watch to get a really good idea. Okay? Next, pizza delivery. Wow, talk about mundane. World's Greatest Pizza Delivery Guy. I used to teach this short course. World's Greatest Pizza Delivery Guide. And this is a really good example to be a David versus Goliath, Ender's Game, sort of up the ante, do things that are unexpected. Because, you go to you take the concept of pizza guy and you think, well, I don't really understand. The pizza guy is the guy that takes the pizza from the pizza shop and he drives it over in his car and he gives it to you. What's the big deal? Why are we innovating pizza delivery? And the answer is, if you own a pizza shop, you want to innovate the pizza delivery, because the pizza delivery is one of the few points of contact. Now, when they call or go online to order the pizza, there's a point of contact. But when the pizza guy shows up, this is a point of contact, and it's one that almost nobody looks at or thinks about. What they think about is, we need to hire the lowest person we can think of who will accept a job as a pizza delivery guy and make it as cheap and as efficient and as, whatever, a non-event as possible, so that we can get the money, deliver the pizza, and get on to the next job. And what I'm suggesting is take a different attitude. Now, this is an interesting scenario because it also works as just an individual pizza delivery guy. Now, I've got a little soft spot in my heart for pizza delivery guys, because there's a little fact you don't know about me. My very first job ever when I was 16 years old was a pizza delivery guy. I worked for a pizza place called Super Pizza, and I wore a shirt that looked like a Superman shirt, except for it was a piece of pizza on the front. Yeah. I worked there for all of about 2 months during the summer until, school started or whatever, and I quit. So when I used to teach this course to our marketing consultants as sort of a thought game, I would call it How to Make $100,000 a Year as a Pizza Delivery Guy. And nobody would ever believe me that you could make $100,000 a year as a pizza delivery guy. Well, I don't know. Maybe you can. Maybe you can't. Let's see. First of all, as a pizza delivery guy, create a business card that has your own phone number on it. What you're trying to do is brand yourself as the person that they want to do business with. You're trying to take the decision away from, now, if you're the pizza parlor owner, you're not going to like this. I'm talking strictly as the pizza delivery guy, though, okay? You want them to order pizza from you, not from a specific place. So we're trying to brand you, not the pizza place per se, okay? Now, if you're the pizza parlor owner, this might be a little bit different. They get your own business card with your own phone number. Wear a hat stating that you are world's greatest pizza delivery guy. Now, you're a girl, it can still be a G. Girl, world's greatest pizza delivery girl, or guy, whichever one you happen to be. And you're going to brand yourself. Now, this goes into the idea of confirmation bias, right? If you tell people something, they're going to look for evidence to support what you told them. And if we tell people that we're the world's greatest pizza delivery guy, they're going to say, wow, this guy must be the world's greatest pizza delivery guy. Let me see if I can find the evidence to back that up. Now, on the other hand, if you don't ever tell anybody that you're the world's greatest pizza delivery guy, if you just show up with a pie in your hand, then nobody's going to think twice about you. They're going to not even notice your face or your name. They're just going to get their stupid pizza and slam the door, and hopefully you get a couple bucks as a tip, right? But that's not what we're trying to do here. We're at saying you're the world's greatest pizza delivery guy. Learn a joke. Bring a guitar or harmonica. Sing a song. Make them want to see you. Something that when you come to the door, they go, oh, that guy. You say, well, I don't know if people want to hear a joke. I don't know if people want to hear a guitar. Well, guess what? If you have multiple talents, and we're not talking about playing a guitar for 13 minutes on their doorstep. We're talking about something that might be funny, something that might be memorable. Maybe you get a guitar out and you play it. You say, well, how do you carry the pizza and the guitar? Well, you're going to have to figure that out. Maybe you develop some kind of a handle bag system that can carry the pizzas in one hand while you carry the guitar. You get up to there to the door, you put the bag down, you start playing the guitar. Push the doorbell, they answer the door, and you sing some kind of song that's funny or cute about the pizzas there. Make it different. Get 5 or 6 different songs. You say, well, I don't know if I could do all that. Of course you couldn't, because you're not the world's greatest pizza delivery guy. You're just a pizza delivery guy. I'm talking about the world's greatest. You don't become the world's greatest by just being a guy that delivers pizza. You get to be the world's greatest by being a guy that does something different. But I'm telling you this, it's not that hard to learn to play the guitar. It's not that hard to learn to play the harmonica or to sing a song or to learn a joke or whatever. You with me? Okay? Make them want to see you. Number next, bring candy for children. Now, I'm not saying that everybody that orders pizza has children, but a lot do. Candy is the way to the hearts of children. They like the pizza, but they love the candy. And you know what? If you are the guy that brings them candy and you learn what they like, and you spend an extra $1 or $2 on candy, and it comes out of your own pocket, number one, here's what will happen. They will call you when they need pizza, because when you say, hey, kids, we're going to order pizza, they say, make sure you get it from the world's greatest pizza delivery guy, right? You've got their number on the fridge. You got it programmed into your cell phone. They like you on Facebook, whatever, right? Bring candy for their children. They will insist that the pizza gets delivered from you. You can change jobs from Domino's to Pizza Hut, and they'll still order from you because they don't care about the stupid pizza. They want the candy. Free 2 liters of sodas. Learn their favorites. Bring them drinks, even if they didn't ask for it, not because they paid for it, because you brought it. Have a supply that you got from Tom Thumb or Safeway or whatever your grocery store is of Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper and Sprite and whatever it is. Bring it to them. Have plates, cups, napkins, ice, whatever, that they have it in your car. Bring it in your bag and say, hey, do you need plates? Do you need napkins? Do you need some ice for this soda that I just brought you? Do you need some cups? What do you need? I'm going to furnish the entire thing here for you. Contact other kinds of restaurants. Give your customers options. So now you don't just become the pizza delivery guy. You become the what? That's right, the food delivery guy. How great would that be if you needed food and there was just one guy you called and said, hey, you know what, John, today, instead of pizza, I need some, whatever, right? Whatever. And the guy just picks it up. See, this is thinking outside the box. You say, well, I'm a pizza delivery guy. I don't want to deliver other kinds of food. Well, fine. Don't make the extra money that goes along with this. Well, people won't pay for that. Well, fine. Go find a service delivery area where they will, okay? Come on. Quit thinking about all the reasons why stuff won't work and start thinking about the reasons how things can work, for crying out loud. This is the #1 rule of innovation. I've never said this before. I'm going to say it right now. I've talked about this topic a lot, but I'm going to call it the #1 rule of innovation. Quit thinking about the reasons why crap won't work and start trying to find reasons why crap will work. The negative limiting beliefs and thinking is what kills innovation and what kills your company. So quit thinking like that. Okay? Next, teach others how to use your system. This is where the big money comes. This is where you become the $100,000 a year pizza guy. You start training other pizza delivery guys how to take your cue, take your lead, and you train them, and you charge them money, or you charge them commissions for using your system. Okay? Pizza delivery guy. Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? No, because most people just won't do it. It's a stupid little exercise here. Everything on this slide. It's stupid. I understand that. But you know what? In this little stupid exercise is the seeds to greatness in your company. All right, let's move on. We're almost done here. Speaker, trainer, consultant. Let's say you're a speaker, a trainer, or a consultant. Publish periodic hard copy printed newsletters to distribute to prospects and customers. Here's why. Because nobody has hard copies anymore. Everything's email, so it stands out. Costs money. Does it make a difference? I don't know. Try it. Create a topic hotline to allow people to get insights for free. This is the same thing we did for the tax guy. Why not the sales trainer? Here, pick up this phone and call. Monthly free webinars. Creation of monthly audio CD programs to be mailed to customers and prospects, or it can be pushed to them electronically. Be a nice person to work with. No comment there. That comes from a past experience where people weren't necessarily to work with. Let's go to the next one. We're going to kind of blaze through these here. Rapid fire. Office furniture. Consumer reports. Help customer know what he needs. Narrow the choices. Give actual real advice. Narrow the choices. Let me repeat this. Narrow the choices. Do not increase the choices. Narrow the choices. There are 3,000 kinds of filing cabinets. There are 280 major brands of desks, whatever. We've got the ones that are the right for your situation. Online product descriptions that give real information, opinions, comments, okay? Again, narrowing the number of things that you give them access to. Help them get rid of their old stuff. That's always a problem. Offer an on-site analysis. Interior design service. Realize when you're selling office furniture, you're not just selling furniture. They also need their office decorated. Why not offer them that service? How about an always fresh service? New decor every 2, 4, 6 years, depending on how they do business with you, how much money they spend, where you come in and you refresh it for them. Maybe it's just advice. Maybe it's actually refreshing new photos, new pictures, whatever. Easy flex service. Add or remove stations. So you've got cubicles. You're not sure how many you're going to need. Well, we'll just flex along with your size. If you need fewer, great. If you need more, fantastic. Free frou-frou with purchase of furniture. This is the decorating stuff that goes along with it. So you buy the desk, you buy the credenza, you buy the, whatever, filing cabinets and the conference tables, and we'll come in and put pictures on your wall and put ficus trees in your office and whatever other stuff you would want to make your office look nice, okay? Let's talk about a TV show, rapid fire here. First of all, have characters tweet entertaining stuff. Well, I won't go into too much detail here. It depends on the kind of show. But have the characters, as in character, tweet things that are interesting. Outtakes, commentary, behind the scenes available online. You're shooting a TV show. Why not put those together for every episode? It's not that hard to do. It takes a little bit of extra time. It increases the engagement of the TV show. How about a tour, a road show, movie theaters? Put together a movie every once in a while or a tour, whatever. Netflix subscription package for $3 a month. You have instant access to streaming of all shows. So if you miss it, that's okay. You can watch it on the stream. It's $3 a month. Fan input for plots and episodes. Take advice. Solicit it actively. What would you like to see happen on Person of Interest or, Game of Thrones, whatever it is you watch? Take advice. Maybe you don't use it. Maybe you don't even look at it, but solicit it. And I think this is the last one, commercial real estate broker. Research and advice and assistance. You're going to see this theme for the third time today. Narrowing the choices, making recommendations. This is what a broker's job is to do, not to make more choices available, to make fewer choices available, to help them go into the marketplace, find the things that are relevant to them, and make recommendations. Online tours of properties with captions. This is something, if you follow me much, you know that I'm a big proponent of, not just photos, but captions telling you what to look at in the photos. Work to find gems, in other words, exceptionally good values. Specialize in one part of town only. Don't try to be the end-all, be-all. Maybe if you would just focus in on one specific area, you become the expert for that area. People start to rely on you to know that area. Joint ventures with office furniture, phones, movers. Facilitate not just the real estate purchase, but all the other stuff that they're going to need once they decide they're going to move in, okay? That makes sense to me. You could actually make money off of that stuff. Gain reputation as a buyer's agent, somebody that's there to help people make good choices, okay? So that's our rapid fire innovation for today. And I would encourage you to look at your business. And I'm going to go back here real quick. Let's see. Here we go. I would encourage you to go back to this list of strategies and look at it and think about it in terms of your business and what could you do. And again, these rapid fire webinars are meant to be what I call thought spurs. They're there to help spur interesting thoughts in your business. Even though these things that we've talked about are very likely not related to your business, they're things that can give you ideas that can help you in yours. So that being said, that's what I have for you today. We've got another webinar coming up in a half an hour. It's called the Insiders Open Forum. That's where I take your questions and your calls and talk to you about things that are on your mind, and we'll be doing that here at 11:30 Central Time. That's in a little bit over a half an hour from now, so we'll talk to you then. Thanks. See you in a bit. Bye now.